Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Am I Doing This Wrong? Your gals are here. Same ones. New topic, new week. Here we are. Feeling good. Recording on a Friday is always fun.
We will have an episode on procrastination, so.
They don't need to know the details.
You're right.
Regular recording day.
Right? I know. This was planned. This was the Friday we chose. We're
Yep.
here. We showed up on time.
Hey. Oh, if they only knew. Okay. So. All right, let's check in. How you doing?
Tired as shit, but I'm here and I'm ready to party.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. It was a long fucking week, but I had a good week. I had some really good food. Yeah, we just started cooking everything in the freezer, which is always a good thing because you forget.
Oh, yeah.
How much you bought, you know? So
I know, especially in the freezer. You're like, oh, this will last. And so I'm not going to look at it for 3 months.
I know,
Like,
exactly. And it's still perfect. So when I look at it again, it'll be another 3 months before I cook it. No.
Right. Yeah.
But
So
no,
by fall, you're going to eat all that food.
Yeah, I know. Right. Yeah. So we're set until August. But yeah, no, it's been good and busy. Beautiful weather here also. So the DMV is looking very springy right now, which is exciting.
That's nice. It's been cold in California. It
I
was
know.
hot, and then it just flipped.
I know.
So I don't know what that's about. I'll take it because, you know, it gets real hot here. So
Fair. Yeah, exactly.
I'll take it. But yeah.
Not loving it. I know it was supposed to thunderstorm last night, but it didn't.
yeah.
So I just stayed up for no reason.
Oh, do you not sleep during thunderstorms?
No, I want to be awake for them.
Okay.
It's like by choice.
Right.
I'm like so excited I can't sleep.
No wonder you're so tired. You've just been checking the weather too much.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah. But anywho, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good, you know, just living. Just
Hey,
living my life.
existing.
Existing.
Trying. Yeah.
Yeah. Thriving. Trying to thrive.
Yeah.
What about
Thriving.
you? Thriving. Yes. Thriving. Love that.
Yeah.
I did learn something interesting that I thought would be fun to bring up. I was watching Nightly Pop,
Mhm.
as we know, my guilty pleasure. Love it.
Mhm.
It's like the only little like thing I do for half an hour every night. I'm like, oh, I have to stop working finally because Nightly Pop is coming on. So
Hey, that's a good little treat to look forward to. I mean, not specifically the show, but like something at that
Right.
time.
Right.
Perfect.
Just
Perfect.
like my time to decompress. Yes.
Yeah.
So they had Zach Noe Towers. Have you heard of him? He's a comedian.
It's all one name, huh? No.
That-
No.
He's really funny.
Okay.
He guest hosts on there sometimes. And so they were talking about something, and in the gay community, you know how you've heard the term bear,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So he said he called one of the other hosts a wolf. And he's like, "What's a wolf?" And then he's like, "Well, I'm kind of an otter and you're more of a wolf," which I was like, what are these terms? I did not know I didn't know there was more
Otter.
than bear.
Yeah.
Yeah. So otter is like average build guy with some like body hair. And then a wolf
Okay.
is kind of like an otter, but like a little more chiseled, like lean built, a little bit more muscular build.
Oh, okay.
But then he makes a joke, and Zach Noe Towers was like, "Oh, well, go look up what a pig is." And I was like, "What is that?"
A hairless.
So
a hairless
there are even
thick
more,
guy?
and we don't have to get into like all of
Okay,
them.
I know. I'm so
I
interested.
did look them all up. We have a lot to get into for this.
Right,
episode,
fair.
But I just wanted to bring. So I did a pig is someone, which I don't like. You know,
It sounds like hairless and chunky.
it means someone who likes really dirty sex. Like really freaky, weird stuff.
Yeah, shit on your chest.
Quote
type
unquote
shit.
weird. Let's not, no
I
shame
mean,
in your
fair
game,
enough.
but
Yeah.
I was like, oh, of course I went online and looked it up. I had to know, you know?
Of course.
So I just wanted to share that with everyone because I didn't know that.
No, me neither. New
Yeah.
information, new knowledge. Thank you.
I know. Gonna have to check with Jose and see if he knows all these.
He doesn't. Yeah. He's like, I don't fall into any of those groups, so I don't care.
Yeah.
He just like filters those out on his Grindr profile.
Right. Yeah. Can't box him in. No.
Yeah. He's like, my feed does include wolves, pigs, otters, horses.
He's a peacock.
Yeah. Very good.
Yeah. So that was fun. So I wanted to share that in case I wasn't the only one who didn't know that.
Yeah. Well,
fun.
now you're not the only one at all, because now we all know.
Yeah. So go look it up, guys. It was a fun little goog.
Goog. Yeah. So
anyway,
what are we talking about tonight?
Yeah, let's get into it. Today's topic is going to be really fun and interesting. We've been throwing some heavier topics at you guys, so Ryan and I decided let's lighten things up a little bit. let's I don't know. How do we want to phrase that?
Let's lighten the load and talk about what? I was gonna say it, but then I was like, I don't know if you wanted to say.
I don't have any special intro lined up. Yeah. So we've all come across this question and we just want to know, does size matter?
Ooh.
Question mark.
Yeah.
So let's get into it. First, I wanted to talk about average sizes. Okay. So, top note before we start. We are not experts. We are not doctors. And, we're just two friends trying to figure out the world.
Yeah.
And so I just want to let everyone know that I did do some really interesting research on this one, and we will always put our research in the show notes.
Mm-hmm.
But let me just put that out there before everyone starts worrying and pulling out their measuring tape. Okay.
Fair.
All right. So average sizes. Let's start with the penis.
And end with it.
and yeah, from the tip. Here we go. Okay, so a 2019 research article noted that most males believe that the average size for an erect penis is 6 inches. But the average is actually much smaller. So that's kind of like the widely held belief, but that's not really what is factual.
And that's erect, correct?
That's erect, yeah.
Okay.
So while sizes can vary widely, and we will talk about it, the average is actually probably around 5.1 to 5.5 inches. And it's most likely towards the smaller side of the scale. Yeah, it's not that much, but maybe if you have a penis, you might think that's a big difference.
You know what? Fair enough. Okay.
Okay, so the researchers concluded that the average penis was 3.5 when flaccid, 3.5 inches when flaccid, and 5.1 when erect. What are you doing with your thumbs? Ryan is doing something?
Because is it like your thumb, like an inch or something like that? Like the top of your thumb?
Oh, I don't know. I have small hands though, so.
Okay, well, I can ballpark it. So this is about flaccid. If you're not watching the visual conversation, I'm sorry.
Okay, so that's your 3.5 demonstration?
Yes.
Okay, show me your 5.1.
The tip of this one.
She put her middle finger up now. Okay.
Yeah.
So
not that big, right there.
Yeah. Love that. So yeah. Okay. So 5.1 when erect. That's what the study concluded. They also found that the size of a person's erect penis does not correlate with the flaccid penis. So ergo the term, he's a grower, not a shower.
Dun-dun-dun.
They're a grower, not a shower.
Yes.
Person
correct.
with a penis. So
got it.
So a penis may have different lengths when flaccid, but similar lengths when erect, which is interesting. But I guess guys say it's cold, stuff like that.
Sure, that also, I mean, that could just be that they're being guys, but but I would also say, I mean, similar to vaginas, right? Like the way a vagina looks doesn't necessarily correlate with a lot of things that people think it correlates with, right? Like how much sex you've had, like means you're going to have like a bigger or wider vagina. That's just not necessarily true at all.
Right.
Or at all, right? So,
Yeah. Right.
fair enough.
We'll talk about it. So,
Oh, badge. Okay.
we will talk about vaginas. Don't worry. So, they also found no link between age and penis size. So, also, I just want to side note that we could probably do a whole episode just on the anatomy of people's genitalia. Fair. Because I had to condense this research to fit into just this episode because I went deep. Oh, that sounds bad. Well,
I know. No pun intended.
He went 5.1 inches deep.
And that was flaccid. No, I'm just kidding.
Right. And that size varies.
Yeah.
So the researchers concluded that, quote, only men with flaccid length of less than 1.6 inches or a stretched or erect length of less than 3 inches should be considered candidates for penile lengthening.
Is this like a reconstructive surgery?
Yeah. So I didn't go too far into this. Like I said, I wanted to keep the research more on just the size aspect.
Okay.
But I think they're trying to demonstrate that a lot of people are more worried about the size than they should be. And we'll talk a little bit more about it. But I think this is a huge topic, right? Like size is huge for guys, like women with their breasts or like whatever, you know, like these are things people really worry about and have insecurities about. And so I think that's what they were really trying to make a point of. And this research kind of went into, because it was from like a health journal. So
okay.
So it did go into some medical aspects that people might be exploring if they are doing this kind of research.
Okay.
So, to measure penis length, press a ruler into the groin and measure from the base of the penis to the tip. So, give you guys a quick second if you want to pause here and grab a ruler. And to measure your penis girth, wrap measuring tape around the widest part of the penis.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so that's very similar to what we do at Victoria's Secret, you know. So if you need like a cock ring, you need to do this same process. It's like for your wedding ring, you know, same thing. Same exact thing. You're right.
So let's talk about some medical terms real quick. First is a micropenis, which is a term for a condition usually discovered in infants through a newborn examination. It refers to an abnormally small but normally structured penis, and the condition is caused by hormonal or genetic abnormalities. Important things to note: some people with penis may believe they have a micropenis, but that's likely not the case. So like we were saying before a little bit about the mindset about size versus what is actually happening with people's anatomy.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So having a micropenis is very rare. Genetics can play a role in this condition. There isn't a cure, but there is hormonal therapy that can be done for children to stimulate penile growth. So studies indicate that 0.6% of people with penises worldwide have this condition, and your chances of having it or encountering someone who does is very slim, but not impossible.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And that's the thing, right? This is all, like you said, similar to any type of like vanity situation that you would like to improve on, right? It doesn't necessarily mean that it is malfunctioning, right? Like you said.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. It still serves its purpose. So, and then the other term I wanted to talk about for the penis is a macro penis.
Oh.
Which I hadn't heard of. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
So.
Sounds like a systemic issue. Okay.
If you've encountered someone whose penis is over 8 inches, they are considered someone who has a macro penis. So this occurs in 7 in 1,000 people with penises. Penises. So 7 in 1,000 guys have a 9-inch penis. That's what it says. People with penises, let's say.
9-inch or more?
It just says 9-inch.
Okay.
Oh, but then the next stat is 0.1% of people with penises have a penis larger than 9 inches.
Okay.
Yeah.
And see, like, that's the thing. Okay, we'll talk about later. I want you to get this part out because this is really interesting just to learn first before we dive in. But I have so many thoughts. So many.
I know. There's
thoughts.
a lot. So people, this is from the article as well. It says, it's not all sunshine, rainbows, and lollipops for these people. Complaints range from being seen as only a sex object, not being able to find someone who can handle their size, never being able to be a bottom, and issues finding clothing that properly covers their endowment.
That is really interesting. Yeah, I would say that's just like
John Hamm. That picture of John Hamm.
Yeah, I know, and Chris Brown, and I think Wiz Khalifa, and there's a few out there.
How many have you looked at, Ryann?
Every dick pic that's there to have, I have seen. No, it's all the imprint, right? It's all the imprint. Oh, Safari, the rapper. Just to name a few, honestly.
Right. Yeah.
But
she's got more in her back pocket.
I know. But point being, yeah, it's like people who think, or, societal standards, right, says that like bigger is better, especially when we're talking about only certain things, right? Of course, but bigger is better. However, those people have feelings too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I really do mean that. I know it sounds funny, but seriously, like there are issues that come along with, the endowed. That's what I'm saying.
The endowed. Yes. That's very true. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about breasts. So when we were talking about does size matter, I think our first thought was penis, right? So I just wanted to make sure to try and split this up a little more evenly.
Okay.
So for breasts, there is not a universal understanding of the correct bra size, as we know.
We do know.
Right? Am I right? So an estimated 80% of people are wearing the wrong bra size, which
that feels like a read.
That's guilty.
Fucked up. Yeah. I know. I feel really taken. I just feel really
She's just pointing at her chest. I don't know what you're trying to say. Seen, heard?
No,
targeted?
I feel feel really targeted right now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, so the reason is possibly because your bra size was measured incorrectly. Different stores use different methods of measurement. And so it really varies, right? Yeah. So it just depends. Your breasts can also change in size over time, as we know.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are different ways to measure. So length across your bust, length around your torso, and then the overall breast volume. So that's where your cup size comes in.
Mm-hmm.
So in a survey of more than 2,000 people, they revealed that about 60% of men and 54% of women find average size breasts more attractive. Whatever that means. Obviously, we don't know because nobody can measure them correctly. So, and then it goes on to say when pressed for specifics, about 53% of women and 49% of men share that they prefer a C cup.
That's what I was going to say. Average, right? Average in school. It's the same average.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But that being said, almost 70% of people who participated said they were happy with the size of their partner's breasts.
I mean, yeah, right. Like that's the thing. Preference versus like comfortability and, actual like utility. It's kind of different, Yeah. And so I feel like when it comes to breast size, like, don't get me wrong, I love a good pair of big breasts, but it can be suffocating is all I'm saying. It's hard to sleep sometimes.
She's not bitter.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. And then last one for this part of the show, I want to talk about the labia.
The labia majora.
I just wanted Ryann to say that. That's really the only reason I included this as well. So, a study from 2005 measured different aspects of the female anatomy and found that the flaccid labia, go ahead,
Majora.
lengths vary from about 7 to 12 centimeters, and labia minora lengths vary from 2 to 10 centimeters. So, really big variety.
Yeah. That's interesting. That reminds me of that episode on sex education, where she like makes the cupcakes with all the different labias or vaginas. But yeah. No, exactly. Because that's something that is not talked about as much, right? It's usually mentioned, I mean, honestly, usually just like with close friends or something like that. When we talk about size matters, or does size matter, you know, you kind of have to think about what are those different sizes and what do they mean in relation to like sexual pleasure, because it's not really ever talked about otherwise.
And that's true. I feel like I have heard of like people with penises that I know who have said like, yeah, we all compared them. Like we all stood in front of the mirror and looked at them and said,
oh, for sure.
I mean, people with labias that I know of don't do that, haven't done that.
Yeah.
I haven't done that. We haven't done that. And Ryann and I have done a lot. So you're right. I don't think it's talked about as much. But it can also be a point of insecurity for people with a vagina. So
oh, exactly. Same thing.
Wanted to bring it up here.
Right. And because I've heard of vaginal reconstruction, you know, and I've heard of, you know, what that process kind of looks like. I mean, I don't know what it looks like after, but I've heard of the process.
Where are you going on the internet for all these things?
The dark web.
Yeah.
Figured it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you compare, you know, just like the, I guess, like the popularity of discussing dick size versus, you know, discussing labia size or boob size is much more, you know, common. It's just interesting what is fixated on within society. You know what I mean? But then again, in porn fantasy, I mean, I guess that would be a different realm because obviously porn is going to show a lot more. You're going to come into contact with a lot more labia. So if that's the case, then maybe there are kinks for like, you know, larger labias or smaller labias. I mean, now thinking for sure, there's definitely preference of labia size. It's usually smaller, but that's also like the infantilization of people, of like, you know, women or, you know, like femme presenting people in porn that just doesn't really sit well with me. I think that's why I'm so gung-ho on like keeping my bush intact. Because as much as I like porn, it really does just kind of like, you know, it's the infantilization. So what's preferred in porn fantasy is kind of interesting when it comes to, you know, vaginal size.
Yeah. Vaginal size. Yes. So, funny you should bring up. So it's called labiaplasty. And they interviewed a doctor who does this, but she said it's really only a good option for women who are experiencing discomfort. Because it's removing sexually functioning tissue, it can actually do more harm than good, and it can take away some of your like pleasure receptors.
Right. That makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
I don't know about that.
Like, I'll take the pain with the pleasure, you know?
Right.
I'll go through a little discomfort. I mean, obviously to each their own.
So this article did make a point to say there's nothing weird about having labia minora that are longer than your outer lips. And a study from 2005 showed that female genitalia appearance found that about half women have inner lips that are a bit larger than outer lips.
Interesting.
So sort of like people have like innie and outie belly buttons is how how they correlated it.
I really wish we had a diagram right now. Like I really, because first of all, which ones are the outers? So, okay, this is a vagina and I've got another visual going on. So tune in on YouTube.
Putting your hands together.
Yeah.
a bit of a diamond shape for our listeners.
An almond, if you will.
An almond.
So, oh, let's do that actually. Okay. So is
there
this,
you Just lift your hands around so her thumbs. So
is this the labia
majora
majora
for everyone else, but majora
Yeah.
for Ryann. Yeah.
Okay. And then like
And then
this?
the ones on the inside are your minora.
Oh, but I think they're like closer to down, right? Like,
Yeah, they're a little
lower?
bit more down. Yeah.
Okay. So
Yes,
minora.
this is why we need an
Minora.
anatomy episode. I'm telling you, we could do a whole episode just to make sure we fully understand.
Yeah, no, I'm down. This is interesting. Yeah.
We will.
We should know more about that area, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah. Agreed. We
Yeah.
will. We'll mark it down.
I know.
We'll put it on the list.
I think the most I ever learned about that area was because I got a UTI.
Ouch,
So then I really jumped into research. You know what I mean?
Hey.
Some of it was dark, but it helped me. I mean, it was educational.
Right.
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, you know, WebMD, it's a dark hole.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
You know, I had an incident in the last month or two, and I was like, I think my vagina is gonna fall off.
Just in one fell swoop. Boom.
Yeah.
On the floor.
It.
I'm gonna lose it.
So yes, we should know more about the anatomy of our genitalia. So
Agreed.
we will do an episode. So you
Nice.
guys have something to look forward to.
Yeah.
Now let's keep
in our own
talking
pussy.
about what'd you say?
Deep diving in our own pussy.
Here we go. So back to the labia. So so as you get older, estrogen levels decrease, the body loses fat and collagen, and the result is that the skin and tissue of the vulva and labia become thinner and look less plump. Kind of like the lips on your face. Yeah. I don't know if you can get filler in your labia majora though. So
I think you can. Not in this. Yeah, I think I've heard of that. That's what I was actually thinking. I know I've heard of like labiaplasties and things like that, but I think you can actually improve it just cosmetically.
Poll of the week.
Oh. What have you had your lips plump?
Do people know if you can? I don't know.
I know. Have you put Victoria's Secret lip plumper on your
lip injection on your labia? Let us know. No, don't do that, please. Okay, so now that we know what people are talking about when they say does size matter, let's talk a little bit about what women are saying about male genitalia or people with a penis. Okay. So this survey from the Bad Girl Bible surveyed 1,387 sexually active women. And so there are just some big takeaways from this that I thought were interesting. So we'll kind of just go through and see what Ryann thinks of this. Okay. So 91.2% of women say that 91.2% of women say that size matters for sexual satisfaction, with certain penis sizes being too small for them. What do you think?
91%.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think it's a common cultural trope. Because if you're experienced, but seriously, if you're experienced, I think, like you said, the average size is pretty deep, which I wonder, do you have any stats on like the depth of vaginas or the depth of G-spots? Because I'm just thinking that maybe because they're like whatever the average, vaginal depth is,
right? Maybe
it's a lot closer linked with the average size of penises. And so maybe people are just thinking, that because they're hitting their G-spot or making it feel good, that it must have something to do with the size. When in reality, it's just the motion of the ocean, which we know.
That's true. What is it, the saying? Like, it's not the size of the tool, it's the way you use it. Is that?
I mean,
you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, but
that's a phrase.
That's what I was gonna say. It's the motion of the ocean. It's not the size of the boat. It's the motion of the ocean or whatever. What is it?
I feel like neither of us know the exact what is that called? Is it an idiom? Oh my god, we look so dumb right now. Okay, cutting that part out.
Yeah, I know. Not the brightest tools in the crayon box or whatever.
Now I have to leave it in. That was funny. Okay. But on the flip side, women also don't like very large penises. So 83.4% said that they find some penises to be too big to be satisfying.
Yes.
There's a sweet spot, and it might be 5.1 inches. So if you're worried, don't be.
I know, exactly. And again, right, like the fact that there's so many different ways to perform sexual acts or just enjoy sexual pleasure, like don't limit yourself. You know what I mean? Don't be held back by your macro or micro penis. Like,
that's true.
Get into
there's
some stuff.
So much there's so much that comes with sex. So.
Yeah, explore more. But I will say I do fall into that 83% group. As Morgan knows, I have experiences with like macro penis for sure. It was bigger than a macro penis because you said macro penis was 9 inches, right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the penis in question that I'm discussing was like 10 or more, like 10 inches or more. That was the biggest penis I've ever seen in my life. And I've seen porn, like I said.
The biggest penis I ever saw was on Chat Roulette. And he knew it. We were on there one time. We're just like, flipping through. And he let us look at it for like a good 30 seconds. He knew what he was working. I was like, oh my God.
I mean, honestly, it's impressive. Honestly, shake what your mama gave you. You know what I mean? Like, if you're going to be on Chat Roulette.
I mean, yeah, then be that guy.
No, don't be that guy, honestly. But I mean, that's a nice size. I don't know. And it's not even nice in just like a good thing. It's just impressive, right? Things that are bigger sometimes end up being impressive.
Right. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. That's why there's like the world's largest thermometer, the world's largest ball of yarn.
Yes.
Nobody really cares about a ball of yarn. But if it's the biggest one,
right,
we'll go see it.
Yeah, 5.1 inches in diameter is not very impressive, but 9.1 inches in diameter.
10, 11, 12.
It's all very impressive. Yeah.
Yeah.
However, functionality, not the best.
Right.
I enjoyed some of the sex, but I did feel like it wasn't as enjoyable for the other person. And that was a little upsetting. He was an asshole, so I don't really care that much. However, in the moment, you would like your partner usually to be pleasured. And so I did feel like, like I wish it was just better utility. I'll say that.
Fair enough. Yeah. So 6 to 8 inches is the most favored penis size, which they called the Goldilocks range, which was pretty funny.
That is.
And then 43.6% of women say penis size matters when deciding to date someone. So now we're talking about it mattering in relationships. What do you think of that?
I think that a lot of relationships end. And not just because of that. That's what I'm saying. I think the superficiality of it all is just like, what do you do?
True. It said date someone, not marry. So
fair. Yeah. Maybe. So just see them again, literally.
Right.
Right. Is that dating after we have a one night stand and I see you at Starbucks next day? Like we're dating, right?
No, because you would turn and run and go to the Starbucks 5 minutes down the street. Unless he was Goldilocks, then you'd be like, hey, can you get an Americano? It's on me today, like you were on me last night.
So. 6 inches deep. Yeah.
So next one, 56.6% of women say that a partner possessing a penis that is too big could contribute to them ending their relationship.
Well, that would have saved me about a year of my time had I known.
Really trying to make it work. So, which is true, because as I was doing this research, I did find a story about a woman who was dating this guy, and they had sex one time. It was too big. And then she dated him for 3 more months and wouldn't have sex with him again. She just kept giving him head and like doing other things. But she was like, I can't. It's too big. So it's true.
Yeah. Having, like having a sex bender is fun, but if it is too big, it's going to take a lot more recovery time. I'll say that. Yeah, sex marathons are fun, a little sexathon, but yeah, you are sore after, and that's with a more averaged size penis. And so I can imagine, I mean, especially, like if you're a bottom or something, which is interesting because the prostate is back there, right? So I don't know. I think it's just interesting because the soreness factor doesn't seem as important to like my gay male friends,
Yeah.
Like, they're not like, I've never heard like, oh, we were having sex all night, but like, oh, I just like couldn't do it anymore. It's like, so I'm seeing him later and I'm like, oh, all right. Well, the turnaround time is really quick.
Yeah.
So, just wonder.
They just have a quicker bounce back, I guess. But we might actually be able to explain why. We will talk about that in a bit.
Oh, okay.
So, next one, about 40% of women would consider cheating on a partner with a small penis.
Wait a minute. Say that again.
About 40% of women would consider cheating on a partner with a small penis. So that one reads a little bit confusing. Are they saying that they're going to cheat on a partner that has a small penis, or are they going to cheat with someone who has a small penis?
Okay, right. Exactly.
What did you think? What do you think it was?
At first, I thought you meant with someone that has a small penis. Like they will cheat on their partner.
They'll be tempted by this smaller dick.
By the smaller dick, right. Yeah. Which I don't know if that, how would you know? That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, are you on Grindr, or are you just like happening to, like, are you already cheating and then it happens to be a smaller dick? Right. And so you're like, oh yeah, I do that. And it's like, well, you were going to do it either way. I don't know if he came out with mega dick, if you were going to be like, oh no, this is not the way I wanted to cheat. Like I'm a lady. Like what? Right.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. If you're going to cheat, you're going to cheat. It probably doesn't matter the size. So about 47% report that penis size matters during a one night stand. So again, one night stand, this falls more into the realm of like that superficial situation.
Right.
So I guess so. Sure. Right. Like we were talking about like the hot guy mirage.
Right. But even less so, unless you are like jacuzziing it up, or unless you're just like really getting into the feeling, and then you're like, this isn't it for me. Which again, I mean, hey, to each their own, do whatever you want to do. If you don't want to have sex anymore because of, your preference, like, okay. But at the same time, I just think like, weren't you already going to do it anyway? Like, did you just happen to find a certain size that fit you most times that you were having sex or finding sexual partners?
Right.
Or were you actually like quite literally sizing it up and being like, this isn't enough for me? Because those are two really different things. You know what I mean?
Right. So. That's true. And like, yeah, that's interesting. How would you know?
Yeah.
How would you know? Unless you're just like walking around the club, like grabbing dicks, which like don't assault people. You know what I mean? Like don't do that.
Consent is necessary.
Right. So, I don't know.
Or just that like, that's something that you take into consideration during the hookup. Like, does that decide whether you'll see that person again, or, I don't know.
Right. Or maybe, you're like, okay, we're only going to like fool around. We're not going to have sex.
Right.
Now I know the size and I'm looking for, a macro or whatever. Yeah.
Right. Or micro. So, I mean, whatever you're looking for.
So next one, 68.5% of women report that penis size matters in a friends with benefits situation. It's a little bit higher, but again, this feels so subjective. No.
Oh, well, sure. It is. Yeah. Very relative. Because also size is relative as far as like what's big and what's, we have averages and stuff, but still, for people, size is relative. Like I said, vagina depth. I'm really interested now.
I know I did not find how to measure the depth of your vagina. So we will have to follow up with that. Excuse me.
Yes.
We will have to follow up with that.
Well, just like, you could like dilate your vagina. I think you could measure it that way by how much, an average size dildo gets in.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyways, point. This is
on really the next one.
Yeah. Anyways, just continue.
All right. So about 65% of women believe that penis length and width are equally important for their sexual satisfaction.
Okay.
So I think that's fair.
Right.
Next one, about 62% of women find sex with a well-endowed partner satisfying. So, like we said, it's not all rainbows and butterflies with
and lollipops.
And lollipops.
Yeah.
Maybe it's only lollipops because you're like, that's not going in my vagina, but I'll put it in my mouth.
Yeah. Hey.
So the next one, about 82% of women cited pain as the main cause of unsatisfying sex with a large penis.
What was the percent? I'm sorry.
82, about 82%.
Oh.
Which makes sense. I mean, if it's too big, it's too big. You know, it's like when your eyes are bigger than your stomach and you like order too much food.
Yeah.
It's like that.
Right. Which goes back to like the hookup percentages, right? Like hooking up or dating someone with a certain size penis because in your brain, it's like, this is what is good. Well, what if everything else about it is not good, right? Like what about, the chemistry or all those things? And again, whatever, everyone's not looking for chemistry in sex. We know that. But even still, I would think that's, again, it's preference. I don't know. This is all subjective, but it's super interesting. So continue.
Right. Yeah. All of these we're questioning, but I mean, that's kind of the point of why we're talking about it. So, next one, about 57% of women who found big penis sex satisfying reported that they enjoy the feeling of being stretched.
Oh, yeah, same.
So that Ryann wrote this one. It's quoted. I
stuck that in the notes. Continue.
Right. Like, where'd that come from? So, and then the last one, 7.22 inches is the average ideal penis length for women based on this survey.
Okay. All right.
So a little bit bigger than our average. But again, all these numbers are just showing us like it's all preference. And it depends on how you perceive the partner. Are they one night stand? Are they friends with benefits? Are they someone you want to date? Like all these things are factors as well.
Right. Exactly. And again, even talking about sexual preferences, I feel like the conversation ends up being a lot more relative the more experience that you do have with sexual encounters, because then you realize, at least for myself, I started to realize that like everything's an experience. Like you don't know what's going to be good. Sometimes it can surprise you for the better or worse. Let me tell you.
That's true.
I've been like, ooh, this is going to be a wild ride. And I'm like, this still has training wheels. This is not fun at all.
That's true. That's really true. So just to wrap it up. So, bigger isn't necessarily always better. Bigger than average penises have been associated with higher risk of injury or infection. Extra length can make some positions especially painful. Too much girth can cause tearing if you're not careful, especially during anal sex. And there is a potential issue with choking or the gag reflex during oral. So some things to keep in mind. Yeah.
While you're deep throating, just remember, be careful.
Right. Okay. To bring it back to breasts, I found this article on askmen.com. So I was like, I don't like most of this, but it did have some points. So we'll just bring it up to get another perspective because we are open-minded here. So
brace yourselves, people. No.
So this article was saying that single men tend to appreciate larger breasts. This is especially true when they're around their friends or with a room full of testosterone. You know that breast size matters. So we're kind of falling into like misogynistic stereotype here.
Right. Yeah.
And then he goes on to say, even if a man doesn't agree, his friends will convince him by the end of the night that it does matter. He said there is an unwritten law among friends that we don't let each other doubt that breast size is important.
Oh
So, but then he goes on to say a guy who's in a relationship. So he says, because these are the same men who prioritize the whole big breast search when they were single, now all they hear is sex or breast size doesn't matter as long as you care about the person. And then he says, which is actually true. It doesn't matter. Breast size doesn't matter. If you're hanging out with a woman and you care about and love them, it's really not important.
Okay. So, this guy's had like a full character arc in this article. Like,
right,
all right.
Exactly, yes.
It's really about what's inside. Like, glad you came around to personality. That's fun.
Right. So he said the secret rule is most men pretend to care more about women's breast size around their friends than they really do. But deep down, they really don't care. Most of the time, men joke around more than anything. And he says, inside, we know what we really want. A nice pair of shapely, reasonably sized breasts.
Even still, shut up. Nobody cares. Right. Nobody cares.
I and then it went on to say something like the main priority was nipples and accessibility. So
yeah, because that's what I was gonna say. Deep down, you don't care. Yeah, deep down in your penis, that will get erect no matter what size the boobs are coming at you. Any boobs that decide to grace your dirty hands, remember, wash your hands.
Yes.
It's just, but you know, hey, perspective on everything, and I do understand where that is truthful, right? That in front of friends or acquaintances, things like that are going to quote unquote matter more because that's all socially acceptable stuff to talk about. Right. Whereas, yeah, if you do have a preference on bigger nipples or, smaller boobs or whatever the preference may be when you're, finding someone to be sexually active with, like, there's so much more relativity that goes into it. Like I said, when you actually end up getting into the bedroom, if you do get into a bedroom. Right. So,
right. No, that's true. I mean, that's very true. But I just wanted to make sure we're covering all perspectives, all bases here.
Oh yeah. There's not enough patriarchy out there. So thank you, Morgan. Nobody knows that part.
Right. Yeah. They've never heard that before. So, okay. And then as I was doing this research, I was wondering, does size matter in the gay community?
Okay.
So yes. I found this article from the Gay Male Journal. Started with typically penis size is 5.25 inches long, as we talked about, and 4.6 inches around when erect. It also made a point to say there is no link between race and size of a man's penis.
This is true. I can attest.
It says this is a myth. And there is also no link between hand or shoe size or a man's height.
That's unfortunate. I wish it was,
Right. We need something.
I know.
Right?
I know. It's like from their pinky to their thumb or something.
Is that it?
I've heard that. Obviously, it's an urban legend, but
I mean, I know. I'm like, is it? I'm like asking you if that's true. I'm literally reading my notes right here.
I know. I'll go ask my husband in a second. Yeah. Let me deep throat him real quick, and then I'll put my pinky and thumb up.
Then we'd have to measure the length to the back of your throat.
Oh, yeah. That throat depth.
But this last part does wrap up with gay males are known to have a 1/3 of an inch greater endowment than straight fellows.
Damn. So they really are blessed.
They are blessed. Yes.
Yeah. God is a woman. Little angel. What I was going to actually mention about size within the gay community is that I was listening to one of my favorite podcasts, Bob the Drag Queen and Monet Exchange, Sibling Rivalry, and they were discussing size on one of their advice columns, or like their podcasts. And they were talking about size queens because that's like the term that's used in the gay community to describe people. And I don't know, this would be interesting to note because I don't know if it's only size queens for big sizes, because again, that's what's socially acceptable. That's usually what you talk about when you talk about does size matter, right? It's the bigger sizes. Right. But I would wonder if people that do have a preference or fetish for smaller penises would also be considered size queens. You know what I mean?
That's interesting. We'll have to consult
The gay gods.
the gay gods, yes, and find out.
Yeah. We'll check in. Yeah.
Yes. So it goes on to say that numerous studies have proven that a man's sense of self-worth, or person with a penis, sense of self-worth, ability, confidence, sexual orientation, or even sexual position is determined by how they perceive their own member.
Mhm.
So ironically, this image does not need to be based on fact, which is exactly what we started with at the top. The perception versus reality is not aligned here. So some people believe that they have smaller than average penises, even though they don't. And some have the very same issue who have smaller ones than they think they do.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, that's the Napoleon complex, right? And it can go either way. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's so interesting because I've definitely met guys that have been all the talk, right? And just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna give you everything and more. And I'm like, okay, I'm like bracing myself, right? Because it's not all fun and lollipops. And so I just remember like a few times being like, I don't know if you think this is the biggest I've ever seen. But it's not, and that's okay. I'm not mad at it, but like what you're saying about it is not relaying to my vagina because I still have more depth and you're not in it.
Right. Yeah, so that's true. A lot of talk and very little to show for it.
Yeah.
When I was in San Diego one time, I met this guy and we ended up hooking up, and he was just laying it on. He was, I'm gonna put
the dick
down,
or
all this.
No.
The
top. Okay.
He was laying it on thick before we went back to the hotel.
Okay.
So after we hooked up, I was like, okay. So he was a lot of talk, a lot less action. So I decided to leave him a note on the bathroom mirror with a bar of soap, just so he knew that I didn't come.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is an iconic moment from Morgan's fun days.
From my wild days. Yes.
Wild days. Yeah. Leaving bar soap notes.
Communication is key.
It is. It really is. Yeah. Yeah.
So, not surprisingly, many gay males allow size to determine their lifelong sexual positions. Guys who have smaller endowment are known to be bottoms, while those who are larger often are tops based on the size of their penis alone, or at the very least, not verse or verse. Hold on. At the very least, he's looked down upon if he is not versatile. Okay. So
versatile.
Sorry. At the very least, he is looked down upon if he's not versatile.
Just say verse.
Verse?
Yeah, you are.
I know. They say verse, but this article says versatile.
Okay,
at the very least, he is looked down upon if he's not verse.
Yes.
So guys who don't fit into the top and bottom position based on their cock size, as this article says, often complain of not being able to find sexual partners who allow them to perform sexually as they feel most comfortable.
So but this is tough, right? Yeah, it is. It's a sad life. But no, I think this goes back to, hookup culture, right? Being so normalized because when you are hooking up, it's a lot more about superficial vanity. It's what you want in the moment because you get to be as selfish as you want to be because you don't have to go home with this person at the end of the night, unless you want to. And if you don't want to, it's like, I can actually keep swiping and I'll find exactly what I want in about 0.2 seconds and they're 0.2 miles away. Exactly. So, you know what I mean? I think that's what's super interesting about the availability of dick, is that I can just continue my search.
Right.
And, find what I want. So everybody's got their plight in life. You know what I mean?
That's true. That's true.
And the patriarchy is on your side. So enjoy it while you can, whatever.
Right. While you can. There you go. So, and this includes stereotypes based on race and body type as well. So
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. As much as size is a factor, I did want to include that because the article did make a point of that.
Yes. And I will say though, the most satisfying times were dad bods all the way.
Dad bods.
Dad bods. Yeah.
Oh.
I've hooked up with some very, nice physique looking men. I don't even know what to say. The muscle guys, and
The
I was
hot
just
guy
like
mirage.
the hot guy mirage. Exactly. And I was never as impressed as I wanted it to be. I wanted it to be that whole experience. And I was just like, this isn't, you're not bench pressing me. Like, what is it about this situation that's going to really get me there? And it never really did. I'd take a humorous guy that knows what he's doing any day for sure.
Okay. Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah.
I'm trying to go through.
I know. You're like going through your Rolodex.
Yeah.
Morgan's like flipping through a dick Rolodex in her mind. She's like, he was okay.
Right. Yeah. So this article did point out that anal size, which we were talking about the prostate. So the prostate, the male G spot, is located only 1.5 inches inside the asshole.
I just found that out. Yeah, it's right there.
In regards to size, it's right there.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about
that out, how'd you just find that out?
I just asked Ben right now. No, no, it was actually on another podcast I was listening to, but I was just thinking about it. It has to be pretty shallow because you can like put a finger up, and like rub around and it's great. So it doesn't mean that it doesn't also feel good deeper, but I do think that it's because I think like rubbing the entire area, right? Versus just like touching like the very tip of the prostate is probably where most of the pleasure comes in, right? Because you're like the pleasure is like reverberating throughout the anus.
I'll put that on a shirt.
Yeah.
Reverberating throughout the anus. There you go.
Yeah.
So so it goes on to say that it doesn't take much to provide you or your partner with an intense sexual feeling that can be literally orgasmic. So again, only 1.5 inches, but if it's reverberating through the anus, then
hey,
we get it. So
freedom ring.
Let freedom ring. So it goes on. So the puborectal sling is a strong supportive muscle that creates the first curve in the rectum. It's the most powerful muscle in the body after the tongue. The muscle responds to pressure or poking by clamping down to close the rectum, and this can prove painful when getting fucked, fingered, or toyed with. It's when the cock stabs this is a direct quote, guys. So it's when the cock stabs this that you get that, whoa, get the fuck out of me sensation. Straightening out the rectum a bit by adopting a position where this is telling you how to like get over that.
Yeah.
Should I bring that up?
I want to know just for me. Okay. I want to be
straightening out the rectum a bit by adopting a position where the knees are drawn up will help avoid this.
Oh,
so pull your knees up.
Oh, because I've always yeah. Oh my gosh. You might have just like solved my anal sex issues.
We will have an episode on anal sex, so we don't have to keep this part in. I just thought anal size was interesting because one, we brought it up earlier, and also it is a factor when talking about size
mattering.
Gay sex.
Yeah. Right. So. Yeah. No, it's super interesting. And not just gay sex. We probably should have said that, but like
anal sex.
Anal sex, exactly.
Yeah. But women don't have a prostate.
Specific for exactly. No.
In that regard.
Fair point. Yeah, fair point.
So last question, are we doing this wrong?
Yeah, I've been doing anal sex wrong. And I'm ecstatic to know that I can do it better. Also a size, I've done it wrong a few times. I mean, it's relative because again, preference, right? And when you're hooking up, go after what you want. You know what I mean? Like really hone in on what you want, because too many times of disappointment. I mean, they make great stories, right? We've got bar soap lady over here.
For sure. Right. When I think back on past hookups, I'm not thinking about the size. Like I've had really fun hookups with smaller penises, really not great hookups with large penises. Like
and
it
vice
really
versa.
varies.
Right.
Yeah,
Right,
and vice
exactly.
versa. Yeah, it depends on the person. It depends on the chemistry. And it's not like these were all dates. These were still one night stands and, the whole across the spectrum.
Right, exactly. Yeah, no, I think doing it wrong really is more so for me, just thinking about giving it more weight than it was worth. You know what I mean? Like really trying to, I mean, for me, it was just always about the experience. Like I want to try a lot of different things, it's like trying different oysters. Like I want to,
yes,
I want to try some from Maine. I want to go to Florida. I want to try everything. And so, in my search of trying everything, I've just found that like preference it's fun to like play with your preference, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like it's fun to kind of gauge like, what will tonight be like? It's a mystery.
It's a mystery. Exactly. So don't write anything off is what we're saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Try all the sizes. Try all the lollipops out there.
There you go. Have a rainbow party, baby.
Yes. See our orgies episode for more detailed explanation.
Yes. Exactly.
Oh my gosh. Well, this one was really fun. I had a good time doing the research. We will definitely be talking about genital anatomy because there's so much more to learn. There is so much more to learn. And I hope you guys got something out of this too.
Yeah.
Something. If nothing else, I hope you know where the prostate is now.
Right. Yeah.
So enjoy.
Yeah.
Now you know how to measure. Now you know how to find the right size cock ring.
Right. I know. So go out into the world and really enjoy that, live in that space.
Yeah. Live in that space. Mm-hmm. Be your authentic self. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will be back next week with a brand new episode. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, or join us on YouTube for the visual conversation. Check us out on Instagram and Twitter. We are at Wrong the Podcast. Come join the conversation. And that wraps it up for this week, guys. So we will see you next time. All right. Bye.
Bye.